Good morning, I am Bhargavi. Today I would like to discuss about nuclear power plants. Content. I am going to discuss the following contents. Introduction, history, what is nuclear energy, nuclear fission and fusion, a nuclear reactor and its types, list of nuclear power plants in India, advantages and disadvantages. Introduction. A nuclear power plant is a type of power station that uses a nuclear reactor to produce heat, which is then used to generate electricity. In India, nuclear power is the fourth most important source of electricity after thermal and hydroelectric and renewable sources. History. On December 20th, 1951, the EBR experimental station near Arco in the United States generated electricity for the first time using nuclear reactor. In 1954, the power plant in USSR became the first nuclear power plant in the world to generate electricity for a power grid. On October 17, 1956, the Hull power station in England became the world's first commercial scale power station. Now let's discuss what is nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is a strong form of energy that is made when a center of an atom changes. This change in atom center releases energy that we can use to make electricity. The nuclear energy is a powerful source of energy that is generated during a nuclear reaction by a change in nucleus of an atom. The energy comes from the mass of the nucleus during a nuclear reaction. This mass is converted into energy. The energy generated must be released to produce electricity. Nuclear fission. When a neutron hits an atom of uranium, it causes the uranium to split into two lighter atoms. This process is called fission and it releases both heat energy and electromagnetic radiation. The fission of heavy elements like uranium can produce a lot of energy. A well-known example of fission reaction is the reaction of uranium-235. In this reaction, uranium-235 and a neutron combines to form two neutrons, krypton-92 and barium-142, and some energy. Sometimes a stray neutron can hit a uranium-235 atom, cause it to become unstable. This atom will then undergo fission and release more such neutrons, which can in turn initiate fission in other uranium-235 atoms. Nuclear chain reaction. A chain reaction refers to a process in which neutrons released in fission produce an additional fission in at least one further nucleus. This nucleus in turn produces neutrons and process repeats. If the process is controlled, it is used for nuclear power, or if it is uncontrolled, it is used for nuclear weapons. If each neutron releases two more such neutrons, then the number of fissions doubles in each generation. Nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion is a process that involves combining two light elements to form heavier elements and release vast amount of energy. Did you know that the sun's energy is generated through this process? It's fascinating to think about how much energy is released during fusion reaction, that it is the source of sun's energy. One such classic example of fusion reaction is the combination of deuterium, which is heavy hydrogen, and tritium to form helium while releasing energy. The reaction is follows. Deuterium plus tritium gives helium plus neutron and some energy. Nuclear reactor. Nuclear reactor is a machine that starts and controls a nuclear reaction. This reaction can be fission, which is splitting atoms, or fusion, which is joining atoms. In fission, a special type of uranium, uranium-235, splits when it absorbs neutrons. This creates 2-3 more such neutrons, which can cause other atoms to split. Water is used to slow down these fast-moving neutrons and keep the reaction steady. Nuclear reactors are used in power plants to make electricity and ships for propulsion. The heat made by fission is turned into power by making water or gas spin turbines. These reactors are important because they give us energy without making a lot of pollution. They are used in a lot of different ways, like for science, industry, and even in military. But it's important to make sure that they are safe and deal with the waste properly, which requires rules and some new ideas. The following diagram illustrates the nuclear reactor. Parts of a nuclear reactor. An apparatus that utilizes a nuclear fission chain reaction to generate heat is known as a nuclear reactor. And these are the parts of a nuclear reactor. First is nuclear fuel, moderator, control rods, reflector, reactor's vessel, biological shielding, and coolant. Now let's discuss the types of a nuclear reactor. Reactors can be heterogeneous or homogeneous. A heterogeneous reactor has large number of fuel rods with the coolant circulating around them and carrying away the heat released by the nuclear fission. In a homogeneous reactor, the fuel and moderator are mixed. Example, a fissionable salt of uranium like uranium sulfate or nitrate dissolved in moderator like H2O or D2O. And the types of a nuclear reactor are boiling water reactor, pressurized water reactor, pressurized heavy water reactor, high temperature gas cooled reactor, liquid metal fast breeder reactor, shore turbine or generator plant common to all the types. Nuclear power in India. In India, nuclear power is the fourth biggest way to make electricity after thermal, hydroelectric and renewable sources. Presently, India operates 25 nuclear reactors across 6 power plants, producing 4,780 megawatts of electricity. Additionally, there are plans to construct 5 more plants expected to generate an extra 3,153 megawatts. In India aims to significantly boost its nuclear power capacity to 64,000 megawatts by 2032. Furthermore, India is actively involved in nuclear fusion reactor development. Notably, through its participation in ITR project, is a leading player in advancing thorium-based fast breeder reactors. The following are the list of nuclear power plants in India. Now let's discuss the advantages. Nuclear power reactors do not produce any carbon emissions. It is also one of the smallest carbon footprints. One of the biggest benefits of nuclear energy is that it is a reliable power generation source. It is essential to our response to climate change and greenhouse gas emissions. Cost effective. Although building a nuclear power plant has a high initial cost, but it's relatively cheaper to produce energy from them and have low operating cost. High energy densities. It is estimated that the amount of energy in nuclear chain reaction is 10 million times greater than a burning a fossil fuel. Disadvantages. Nuclear waste is extremely hazardous and must be stored safely for thousands of years. Uranium is ultimately a non-renewable resource. Nuclear power plants are extremely costly to build. The slight possibility that nuclear power plants can have catastrophic failures, and they also have environmental impacts. References, and these are the references which I have followed. Thank you greatly for dedicating your time.